It's that shooting show. I am Steve, I am your humble host. It's that shooting show. I am Steve, I am your humble host. That shooting show. Hi, little Ted Nugent via Steve Anderson there by special request. If you have a reasonable special request for a podcast introduction song, please let me know. Let's take it easy on the Yngwie Malmsteen, Steve Vai type of stuff. Let's keep it a little bit more George Thorogood, maybe Van Halen. Let's just keep it that way. So, welcome to That Shooting Show. My name is Steve Anderson. I am your humble host. We are a proud service of Walther Firearms. We just got renewed for another year, so Walther Firearms will be the title sponsor of the podcast and of AndersonShooting.com for 2025. Yet again, the PDP steel frame is the finest production type handgun I've ever handled, and Walther will give you 30 days to agree with me. If you don't agree with me after 30 days, Walther will give you your money back, and you can go on down the road to an inferior firearm. You can enjoy, different trigger pulls. You can enjoy light strikes. You can enjoy constant parts breakages. You can do those things. Or you can shoot the Walther PDP and have none of those problems. Also, CR Speed. Whew, I'm out of breath. All that musical singing. Okay, so CR Speed, as you know, manufactures the finest gun handling gadgetry you can wrap around your waist or anywhere else. Targets USA, as you know, is the finest steel targetry on the planet. The AMG-lab.com Commanderson timer continues turn heads and blow minds by putting the time into the tablet. That is a very important feature, in my opinion. Hunters HD Gold, as you know, is the only eyewear that I wear, and I am not aware of any other eyewear that I ever wear. OutdoorDynamics.net remanufactures the finest competition ammunition you can dispense from a Freedom Seed dispenser. I just got the coolest stickers from Outdoor Dynamics. The Anderson logo, which bears a little resemblance to another logo. I mean, I'm sure it's completely coincidental, just like the stripes, right? And, completely coincidental, having nothing to do with any other copyright or trademark, obviously. And of course, Shooting Sports Innovations is a lot to type because there's a lot to see, and we have a lot to do. So, Mental Management starts January 16th, 23, and 30. You've got 3 p.m., 7 p.m., and 9:15 p.m. I need you to go sign up for that if you want in. January 16, 23, and 30, 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern, or 9:15. So it's 3 2-hour classes. And whenever I write that, right, is that the number 3 and then spell out 2, or the number 2 and spell out 3? Because it's not 23 classes. I don't know. At any rate, it is 3 THREE, 2 WO hour classes. Everything you need to know about mental management to have the best mental game possible. Louisiana coming up January 18th. We're going to do a class and then a match. February, we're going to be in Brazil most of February. March 15th, Nampa, Idaho. That'll be on the website very shortly. March 22nd, we have an IDPA event in Virginia. That'll be an IDPA specific class combined with mental management. March 29, we are going to be at Cardinal Shooting Center in Marengo, Ohio. That's a small group, but if you are a higher level shooter, A class, probably M class in there somewhere, and you want to be part of kind of a smallish group, I could maybe take one more on March 29th, Marengo, Ohio. We'll get back to you on that. Me and Joey are going to be in Arkansas, Joey Sauerland, June 7th and 8th. April 12th, we're going to be in Kalamazoo, Michigan. April 19th, we're going to do a class at Bud's Gun Shop in Salyerville, Tennessee. And I do want to remind you that the class sponsor always gets the class for free. So if you don't live in Idaho, Virginia, Arkansas, Michigan, or Tennessee, and you want me to come to you and make some magic, you can get the class for free. It's very, very simple. I'll come to your house, we'll make some magic, and then I will leave. That's how it works. Okay? All right, so I want to tell you about something that, and I might get a little emotional here, so just bear with me. I have traditionally not been super close with my family. Most of them live in Texas. I have not lived in Texas. I'm very busy. I'm not, I mean, I am in control of my schedule, but I can't really do a lot of scheduled vacations. But a very, very dear friend of mine, somebody who is incredibly important to me, said, hey, you need to go see your mom. I know she's been having some health problems. You need to go see her immediately, if not sooner. So that put me over the edge. That put me over the hump. So off I went. And it was wonderful. My mom played cello for the first time in a year. She's had some nerve problems with her legs, so she's kind of hobbling around. And it was awesome. I finally understand a family bond in a way that I never had. People talk about, oh yeah, family's so important. I'm like, well, I guess, but I experienced it. That's my point. I experienced it. And one of the things I got to do was go watch my nephew, Matthew Anderson, bowl in the Special Olympics. So Matthew has a form of autism that is called apraxia, may be pronounced apraxia, don't know. I get credit for at least knowing what I know, all right? You got to give me that. So he doesn't verbalize very well. He can ask questions on his computer, he can verbalize a little bit, but he can't talk in the normal way. But he loves to bowl. And he's in this Special Olympics regional event, College Spring, College Hill, some sort of college thing in Texas. And so I went. Never been to a Special Olympics event ever, had no idea what to expect. And I was immediately drawn in by the sense of community, right? These people are all in the same boat. They're all going the same direction. They've all got similar struggles and obstacles and opportunities. So the sense of community was awesome. I really enjoyed that. And turns out these kids, most of them are young. There were some adults there, but most of them are younger. They can bowl really well. And my nephew, Matt Anderson, won his entire event. He got the gold medal. Now, the question is, can you win the Olympics, special or otherwise, without mental management? Right? My nephew, Matt, doesn't know anything about mental management. Or does he? Okay? So number one, mental management provides strategy. So if you have strategy, you may not need mental management, even though you are using it. So strategy may start consciously depending on the task. Meaning, steel challenge. I've already got my strategy nailed down. So that's already a subconscious strategy. IDPA, USPSA, PRS, those strategies, stage plans will start in the conscious mind. Matthew's strategy was subconscious. He knows exactly what to do. And strategy will be moved to the subconscious with repetition. Okay, in the case of steel challenge, you're going to shoot the plates the same way every time for the most part. Well, probably every time. So that moves to the subconscious. We don't need to think about it. Okay. Now, in the case of USPSA, IDPA, PRS, the stage strategy starts out conscious and requires repetition to move it to the subconscious. Now, while this is happening, the conscious mind informs self-image during this process. Oh, there's the move. Yeah. So my roommate Matt jokes about this move. He says it looks like something resembling Wiggle the Halls, right? It rhymes with Wiggle the Halls. And I'm like, I don't do that. You're making it up. And I just got caught wiggling the halls. So thanks a lot for that, Matt. I just got caught on my own video. But the conscious mind informs self-image during this process. For example, when I learned Cat Scratch Fever to do the song, I messed it up a couple of times, right? So my temporary self-image is like, Anderson, you're going to mess this up. So I had to do 3 takes. But I changed my self-image at the last minute. I said, I'm going to nail this thing. I am going to nail this. And I did. Okay? What was happening is the imprints to my self-image while I was learning Cat Scratch Fever were like, ooh, that's, it's easy to play, but the rhythm it's not tricky, but, acoustic guitar strings. And so those were negative imprints. So I changed it. Anderson, you're going to nail this because you nail everything. Make your own jokes. All right. With regarding Matt, in bowling, never mind. Let's just set aside the fact that my nephew Matt is a Special Olympian and my roommate Matt is also special. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So my nephew Matt has the same setup and delivery for every shot. That's a subconscious strategy that he believes in. He bowls granny style. He tried the one-handed situation. Never did like it, but he bowled a 187 bowling granny style, okay? And if you're tempted to make any jokes during this when we're talking about it, You got to bowl me a 187 before we make any jokes. Then you can make your jokes. Okay? Now, Matthew has unconscious competence. What that means is he has fallen into a mental management situation without knowing it. And that's fine, but unconscious competent athletes are still subject to the performance model. And what that means is conscious mind moves things to the subconscious depending on repetition, and then access to that is provided by self-image. Whether you know it or not, you are not immune from that process. Okay? It's like if an alien came to Earth, they're not used to gravity. Well, they don't know anything about gravity, but they're still subject to it, right? Gravity's still working even though they don't know anything about it. Now, in strategy, you've got to identify an objective within your control. Okay? Matt's objective going bowling, have fun and bowl well. He knows he's going to have fun. He's got this cute little girlfriend that doesn't know that she's his girlfriend. Welcome to the club, But at any rate, he gets really excited when he sees this girl. And she's like, yeah, whatever, you're nice and everything. And he's head over heels. And she doesn't even know that she's his girlfriend. It's like everybody wins, So Matt is unconscious competent. He doesn't know what he's doing, but he does know it's working. Now, he may have an advantage here. Given the unique nature of his mental capacity, he may have an advantage. He's not able to tell me whether he expected to win. But I knew from the things he was communicating on his device, I knew that he knew he was going to do well. He knew he was going to bowl well. He knew he was going to have fun. He knew he was going to see his cute little girlfriend. So he's already won because he's got an objective within his control. Okay? Now, so that's strategy. That's provided by, I did it again. I just wiggled the halls. I'll try to eliminate that. So strategy is provided by the conscious mind. So this is what I need to do to be successful. Stage plan. That's all it is. Stage plan. This is what I need to do to be successful. And the imprint during that process, while it's being moved to the subconscious, must be positive or productive. So then it becomes, this is what I need to do, and I know that I can do it. Okay? Strategy. The next part is skill. So every athlete can perform some percentage of every task without conscious thought as a result of similar reps during training. What that means is when Matt bowls granny style, he doesn't need to think about it. Okay? He goes the same way every single time. He even does the same little, he almost kind of falls forward after he throws every ball. Same exact way every time. Okay? He's not thinking about that. He's thinking about something else. Okay? He's looking at the pins. He might be thinking about his cute little girlfriend that doesn't know she's his girlfriend. I don't know. So, conscious thought will disrupt and or deny subconscious skill. What that means is if Matt starts thinking about what he's doing, he will lose his ability to do it. Okay? And if a true subconscious skill is made conscious, the skill may need to be relearned on the clock. And this is true. If you've got a really close target and you're going to burn it and you start thinking about your draw, chances are you're going to pull out a hot, cheesy pretzel. I just did it again. Wiggled the halls. You're going to pull out, pardon me, you're going to pull out a hot, cheesy pretzel sandwich of fingers and mess and gun. It's not going to go well. But if you trust your draw to be there when you need it and think about something besides the draw, that's going to work really well. It's going to work much better. Now, think about tying your shoes. Think about driving a manual transmission. If you play video games, if you're a professional Xbox gamer, okay, you can operate those controls without conscious thought. And if you do think about it, you're probably going to mess it up. If you're driving a manual transmission, first time in a while, and you start thinking about it, there's an excellent chance you'll mess it up. Tying your shoes, for example, right? You don't tie your shoes. You watch yourself tie your shoes. That's how that works. If you try to tie your shoes faster, or if you even attempt to think about, okay, what is my pinky finger doing during this shoe tying process? What's going on here, right? You're going to mess it up. Very, very, very vividly, I remember I was staying with a guy in Mississippi. And those of you that have me in your home as a class sponsor, all I care about is the wheels up time. Because I need 90 minutes for at least 2 of the 3 S's. Right? If my beard is getting a little scraggy, there's going to be 3 S's. If I don't need to shave, it's just going to be 2. But that's a 90-minute process. Okay? From initiation of black coffee to completion of the 2 S's is 90 minutes. Okay? Well, this guy said, I want to leave earlier. And I'm trying to tie my shoes. I could not tie my shoes because I was in such a hurry to tie my shoes. I was thinking about it for the first time in 30 or 40, at that time, 40 years probably. Probably 30 back then. Haven't thought about tying my shoes in 30 years, so my conscious mind doesn't know how to do it. That's your draw stroke when you're drawing the gun out of the holster. Your conscious mind doesn't know how to do it. Okay? So, Matt has been bowling twice a week for some amount of time in a repeatable form. He goes to a facility for similar-minded adults, and they go bowling twice a week. He loves it, and he gets to practice twice a week, and he has fun. So the imprint is bowling is fun, and I'm good at it. Okay? The imprint. Bowling is fun, and I'm good at it. Steel Challenge is fun. I am good at it. IDPA PCC is fun, and I am good at it. Okay? That's the imprint. Now, technically, Matt is bowling incorrectly. He's bowling granny style. But nobody can give him advice on that until they can bowl a 187. So he's only got to take advice from somebody that can bowl a 187 or higher. Now, if he wants to go pro, and I don't know if Special Olympics has a professional category, but if he wanted to do that, he may need to learn a different skill, right? You may need to change what you are doing to get to the next level, but you need to be 100% certain. It's actually more than 100. It'd be like 1,000. You need to be 1,000% certain that the technical skill is better than the one you've got, because it is going to take a very high number of reps to change subconscious skill, right? If you remember in Carry Optics, pardon me, when they moved the holsters and the mag pouches, well, all these jabronis thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna get my holster, it's gonna be so much better, and they did, and then they couldn't find their stuff for 90 days. They've got thousands upon thousands of reps of drawing with the gun, in the old position, and then they move it, and they can't find their stuff. Okay, that wasn't carefully considered, and it wasn't understood. So maybe it's an advantage, maybe it's not. But if you're going to change technique, be absolutely certain and understand the risks. If you're going to change your technique, you've got a choice to make. Do I want to go to the match and display the new technique because I'm working on it? Or do I want to do reps in practice, go to the match, and think about something else? Those are your choices. You will shoot better if you wait for the new skill to become subconscious. Your score will be better. If you go think about technique, you will get the new technique, but you may not shoot as well. So that's a choice you have to make, okay? And I'm sure you know which one I recommend. Now, if you're going to make a change to technique, be absolutely certain of it, and control the imprints while it's becoming subconscious. So let's say normally I shoot strong hand with a slight cant. So let's say I decide to straighten out my elbow. Okay, I've done the research. Somebody has convinced me that a straight elbow is better for strong hand only. I'm going to go all in on straight arm, strong hand only. It's not going to be awesome the first couple of times. So I've got to control the imprints while I'm changing the technique, because now I've opened up the file, right? I'm pretty good, I'm very good with a slight cant strong hand only. I'm very good at that. If I straighten my elbow, I may or may not be as good initially. So I need to be 100% sure of the change, and I need to make sure that I'm controlling the imprints so that the files I'm making on strong hand only are good, productive, positive files, okay? Negative imprints during training is the second biggest problem in the sport, and type A shooters think that they can outsmart it, okay? We're not going to name names on this program, but there are a lot of household names that thrive on negative imprints during training. Thrive. Oh, you gotta be so hard on yourself. You just gotta really beat the crap out. And they're awesome shooters. They are exceptionally talented. But they're pretty type A. And they think, I'll get closer here so they can't hear me, really close to the microphone. They think they can outsmart it. And they think it's the right thing to do. But it's not. And I hope they don't talk to their students like that. Now, some people thrive on that, right? But those people are not at the top. Those people are in the middle of the pack. Oh, I want to go see an instructor and have him beat the crap out of me and tell him how much I suck. If that's what you want, pay your money and take your choice. But you have to understand negative imprints during training are denying you access to subconscious skill. That's what's happening. And the biggest problem in the sport is the conscious control of speed. And the people in the middle of the pack are doing both. Speed up, slow down, attack, control. Too much conscious thought. How about this? Use dry fire to get super fast, and then put the dot in the middle of the target. See what you need to see. Call every shot. This works. Now, confidence is the third component. This is provided by self-image. Okay? The sum total of short and long-term imprints to self-image allow access to subconscious skill. And I hope we have a secondary. We do. Okay, good. So, Matt, his goal is to have fun, see his girlfriend that doesn't know she's his girlfriend, and perform really well. That's his goal. So he's already won, right? It was so cute. His cute little girlfriend walked by, and he got up and he went over and he grabbed her and he brought her over to me, and he tried really hard to tell me her name, and she's like, okay, well, maybe, okay, see you later. So cute. The poor thing. Poor thing. Okay, but he's identified an objective within his control. So he's already won. Think about that. That's a winning performance. Now, you have a self-image regarding your shooting in general, and you also have a self-image regarding every skill inside of self-image. Okay, and those two work together to allow access or not to subconscious skill if the conscious mind is occupied with something else. So Matt, his conscious mind was occupied by looking at the pen. He looks where he wants the ball to go. He didn't tell me that. His coach told me that. Oh, and I had a fascinating conversation with the coach. Right, so here I am at my very first my first Special Olympics, and my brother's wife introduces me to the coach, and I said, yeah, my name's Steve Anderson. I teach high-level competition shooting, and I specialize in the mental game. And he goes, you got to come to every match. I said, well, that can be arranged, but we have to look at the fee and the travel, blah, blah, blah. But Matt had the best game of his entire life, and he did it for me. This is where I could get choked up a little bit. He knows I'm family. And he wants to make me proud. And he did, in spades. I was so proud of that young man. We took him to Dairy Queen, ironically, to celebrate. Okay, that's where he wanted to go. He wanted a Blizzard. We both got the steak fingers, right? And I took him up to the counter, and cashier, clerk, whatever. It's a young, good-looking guy who does things that Matt will never do. Matt will never drive a car. Matt may or may not. He may have a real girlfriend. He may not. Poor girl doesn't know she's his girlfriend, but he's living in this world where that's fine. So that's great. You know, what he doesn't know can't hurt him. He'll never get married, I don't think. He may not ever enjoy adult activities. I don't know how that works. But this kid at Dairy Queen has done or will do all of those things. And he looked at me after I showed him Matt's gold medal, and he said, I wish I could do something like that. After he got out of his car, probably lives alone, drove to a job, made change, cooked food, things that Matthew Anderson will never get to do. And this kid wants to be Matthew Anderson. That's where I get choked up a little bit. But where were we? So, confidence based on short-term and long-term imprints will allow access to subconscious skill. Now, those of you that might be unconscious competent, you know this. You know that when you love the stage and love your plan, you shoot well. And you also know when you hate the stage and hate your plan, you tend to not shoot as well. That's the result of short-term and long-term imprints, right? Okay, this stage allows shooting on the move. I'm very good at that. Here we go. Ooh, this stage has headshots at 35 yards. I am not good at that. I'm afraid. This stage has partials at 18 yards. I'm not very good at that. This scares me. Okay? These are imprints during the strategy process that will affect your shooting. So, if the short-term and long-term imprints are expecting success or not worried about the results. Let's talk about that for a second. Expecting success is about a performance as opposed to a result. Worrying about the results can take many, many forms. I hope I win. I hope I don't lose. I hope I don't embarrass myself. I really need to win this. I really need to get an M-class classifier today. Well, those are results situations. Situationships, which can be very confusing. So, those are results-based goals that ultimately we're not in control of. But we are in control of our performance. And you're always going to get the performance you expect, not necessarily the result that you expect. Okay? People talk about expectations. Oh, expectations are so damaging. They're only damaging if they violate your self-image. Okay? Oh, my family wants me to shoot really well to justify this hobby. Oh, I want to make sure I don't embarrass myself and give my sponsor a bad name. Right? Those are the kind of results expectations that pressure can cause problems with. Pressure can only amplify what you're thinking and feeling. I don't think Matt was feeling any pressure. He didn't look like he was. But if he was, pressure can only amplify his desire to have fun, bowl well, and see his semi-secret girlfriend. He's already won. He has literally already won. It's awesome. Now, this is the part I was making sure was in here. Identifying the objective within your control creates a short-term imprint that can carry the event. So what that means, if you come up to a shaky bridge or some sort of unusual prop, something you've never seen before, your short-term imprint can carry that event. Meaning if you get on that bridge and go, okay, this thing's kind of shaky, but if I do this with my knees, I can stay stable. That's a short-term imprint that can carry that event. Right? So when you come up to a tricky stage, some sort of mover you've never seen before, something like that, create a short-term imprint based on an objective within your control, can carry the event. Now, that'll be temporary. So that'll need to be reinforced with repetition to become a permanent part of your self-image. Matt's imprint regarding bowling is fun, and I'm good at it. Plus, that's where my secret girlfriend is, so this is great. Well, it's only a secret to her. She probably knows. Maybe they just can't communicate about it. Who knows? So, performance will always equal your expectation when restricted to items within your control. Not the result, the performance. And you know this is true. When you identify a goal within your control and you know how to do it and you believe you can do it well, or you can do it and or you're not worried about the results, it's pretty easy. Now, results-based goals require a bulletproof self-image. Self-image will not accept a big lie. So if you're C-class carry optics and you tell yourself, I am the best shooter in the world, your self-image is like, who are you trying to kid, pal? We know that's not true. But it starts with, I'm the best C-class shooter at my club. Or I am becoming the best C-class shooter at my club. Okay? Now I have a little bit of a stretch for the self-image that I can believe in. Okay? You might think about self-image as like being in labor, right? So the goal is the baby, right? And we're getting there, but the process is kind of painful because there's some stretching that needs to occur for the goal to be realized. It can't come out all at once. Okay? And maybe mental management is the C-section that causes it to come out quicker and with less pain. Maybe. We'll work on the analogy and get back to you. All right, so can be stretched over time. Think of it as being in labor. Hey, some of this is painful and not necessarily pretty. Unusual things are happening. Knives are going where they don't really belong, and this is weird. But the results are worth it. Okay? So we endure the labor to stretch the self-image because we know the results are worth it. Okay? Sometimes it comes early and needs some extra care. Right? Now, abnormal ideas become normal, and that will build and protect self-image. We want to talk about imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is when self-image doesn't keep up with performance. So I'm winning matches, I'm getting better, but I'm not happy. I had a conversation with a shooter who he's an A-class shooter, and he was disappointed because he's not beating masters. And I was like, wait a second. Are you beating the other A-class shooters? Yeah, most of the time. I'm winning A-class. Okay, that's great. But you're not a master. Where's this expectation coming from of being able to beat masters on a regular basis? What's going on there? Well, I think that's something I should be able to do. Okay, interesting. I'm in A-class. I'm properly classified, but my expectation is I should be beating more masters. Maybe I've beaten a couple of masters in the past. Okay, well, that's great. But if you want to beat masters on a regular basis, well, if you are beating masters on a regular basis, or when you are able to, you're going to be a master class shooter. Problem solved. Okay? So I think there's this weird idea out there that the classification system is so flawed, and people are gaming it so extensively that it's not indicative of performance. And this drives me insane. I don't believe the classification system is that flawed. I really don't. You're always going to have people, performing at matches up or down based on their classification. Fine. But in general, I think it's working pretty good. And Jay Slater is going to make it even better, I promise. Okay. So self-image is all about taking a good abnormal idea and making it normal. Right? When you win a stage for the first time, when you win a match for the first time, own that, know how you did it with items within your control, and you'll be able to do it again and more frequently. Every word or thought creates a picture which becomes normal with repetition. Okay? So like, for example, let's say I want to be a state champion. Okay? That's a crazy idea to me. What I've got to do is normalize the idea of becoming a state champion. If I say that out loud and my self-image rejects it, I can give up on it, or I can stretch it a little bit. I can go into labor, okay? I can use repetition to make the idea normal. And then eventually, hey, maybe I could. Maybe I could be a state champion. I mean, I'm an able-bodied human being. Maybe I could, right? You keep thinking like that. I am becoming a state champion. That's how you stretch self-image over time. With Matt in bowling, I wish I could have a conversation with him about it. Maybe I'll try to ask him through his mother. His mother's very good at communicating with him. Well, mothers and children, that's kind of their thing. But I don't know. But I do know for him it's always been fun. Okay? So, this is why this abnormal idea is becoming normal. This is why you can't ever talk to yourself in a don't or can't way. This is where a lot of the negative imprints come from. Can't do this, I don't do that well, I don't do this well. You got to change that. I am getting better at these things, right? Self-image won't believe you're the best in the state immediately, but it can believe that you're getting better, that you're making progress, okay? Don't ever tell yourself what not to do, because every time you tell yourself that, you create a picture, okay? When I was learning Cat Scratch Fever for the intro, caught myself, you got to watch that you got to watch that 4th to 5th fret business. Well, no, I don't. I just got to play the song. Because if I think about screwing it up and I picture it, that's when I screw it up. And I'm going to play it again here and prove it to you. Okay? So, don't hit the no-shoot. Don't miss the steal. Don't get DQ'd. Turn these into things to do. Okay? And Matt expected to do well at bowling because he loves to bowl. It's fun. He loves to see his semi-secret, oblivious girlfriend. He thinks that's great. And he knows he's going to do well. And my nephew, Matthew Anderson, bowled a 187 and won the gold medal. So, can you win the Olympics without mental management? Yes and no. Meaning, you can be unconscious competent, and because of Matt's mental state, he's about as unconscious competent as a human being can be. But remember gravity. Just because he doesn't know about gravity doesn't mean he's not subject to it. So he's still subject to strategy, skill, and confidence, which is the conscious, the subconscious, and the self-image. He doesn't know anything about these things that I'm aware of, but he's still subject to them. That's my point. Okay? What we provide in mental management is the hack. I don't know how long Matt's been bowling. I have no idea. Okay? That's something I need to find out. Okay? But he's got reps of good performance, reps of repeatable skill, and reps of confidence. That's the point I'm trying to make. Okay? Can you win the Olympics without mental management? Yes and no. You can win the Olympics without knowing mental management, but you are not immune to strategy, skill, and confidence, conscious mind, subconscious skill, and self-image. Let me save you the time. And you still have time to sign up. Pardon me. January 16, 23, and 30. 3 p.m., 7 p.m., or 9:15 p.m. Eastern. And I will now prove, although I've lost my pick, that's okay, we'll go fingerstyle. It's time for the catchy phrase. It's time for the catchphrase. And I'm in a rage. All right, until we meet again on the phone, online, in the Zoom, on the range, or anywhere else, be like me, do what I do, say it with me. 1, 2, 3, love you, bye, and get to work.